We're back with President and member of the Board of Directors of Adknowledge, Brett Brewer.
When was it that you got involved with Biz World, Boys and Girls Club, and community things? Was that before you made money or after?
I've always tried to do as much of that stuff as possible, which is not saying that I did a whole lot over the years, but I don't know if I mentioned it before, but my youngest sister is adopted from Korea. And for our family, it was a big deal because it really kind of opened my eyes. Where I grew up in Central California in a place called Turlock, you didn't really see a lot outside Turlock. We adopted a little girl from Korea. It kind of was a big eye-opening experience. So I tried along the way to always try and do as much outside helping of people as possible. The only thing I was really doing before Biz World was that of any size was Big Brothers of Los Angeles. So I started doing that when I was 25. Just out of college. All through this fundraising process I was doing that. And then Biz World was really about 2.5 years ago when economically things were going better, and I thought I could not only help an organization from a guidance perspective, but I could help them materially, economically as well. And I met Tim Draper, who's the founder of Biz World, about 3 years ago. He's a very successful venture capitalist. And so meeting Tim and really seeing his idea behind it and why he wanted to do it, I loved from the word go. I love kids and I love business. So for me, I said that let's pick something easy that you care about. It'll make it a lot easier to want to spend time there.
So what's the elevator pitch, 1 minute elevator pitch on Biz World?
So the elevator pitch on Biz World is most kids, this is really designed for 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. Most kids in that age group, especially in inner city public school system, have no concept whatsoever of business. And by that I mean not only starting a business, but even just what business is. Just the concept that businesses are out to make money. They usually make some sort of product, either virtual or physical, and sell that product. That whole concept just isn't really in schools. And if you get into a situation where the kid doesn't really have a strong home support, where it's a lawyer and a vice president of some company, in those family environments the kid usually gets some kind of business sense. But in lots of homes there is no business sense. So consequently, when those kids are learning what a negative number is, all this kind of math stuff, it just doesn't mean anything to them. It's literally like learning Greek. So what Biz World does is it brings relevance to why they're learning all that stuff. And what the program is specifically is 2 days in the classroom of splitting up into 5 or 6 person groups and creating a product, which is a bracelet, marketing that product, and then eventually selling that product. And then I think most importantly, having a tally and deciding which business ran themselves better than another business. And the great thing I like about Biz World, and I give the credit to Tim, is he wanted to make it like real life. There's plenty of programs where everybody ties, and there's plenty of programs where everyone gets to have each kind of role. But in Biz World, there's a president of the business, there's a vice president of marketing, there's a vice president of financing, there's a vice president of sales, etc. Everyone has a role, and if you want to try and be the president of that little group, you just got to convince the other 5 or 6 kids in your group. You may or you may not, but that's reality. And the other reality, of course, is some businesses are going to perform better than others, sell their bracelets for 80 biz bucks, and some of them aren't going to make a good bracelet and sell it for $8. But the kids all of a sudden are saying, wow, I built a business and our business was great, or our business didn't do very well, but it adds some context to the whole reason why they're learning. And I've taught the class a few times in San Francisco and in LA, and it's incredible when you see that impact on a 4th, 5th, 6th, or 7th grader that just never thought of that concept before, never had that kind of perspective. When the light goes off like that, it really does change the way they view things.
Why did you start getting involved in nonprofits from the get-go? Did somebody share with you that it was important to give back, or was it just something within you that you wanted to get involved in?
I've seen my parents over the years do kind of what they can, where they can. So consequently, and really most of my family as well. So I just always viewed it as soon as I could, I would spend the amount of time and energy and money that I could in any sort of arena. And again, just the match with Biz World being kids and business made it too good to pass up.
Why was it important to you to still be involved with Big Brothers in Los Angeles when you're doing this fundraising process? Entrepreneurs are always busy.
Well, the one thing about Big Brothers of LA is you have a commitment to the kids, and I happen to have two guys that are brothers. And so consequently, once you're sort of hooked in there, it's not the kind of thing, which they definitely, fully disclosed up front, but it's not the kind of thing you can do for 2 or 3 months and then not do, as opposed to lots of nonprofits where obviously you can. So that really made it so I needed to stay committed through that process.
Thanks for joining us today on Greater Good Radio. For more information or a transcript of today's show, please visit us online at greatergoodradio.com. This is your host, Evan Leong and Carrie Leong, saying please join us next time for another episode of Greater Good Radio, Hawaii.